So Dragon Valley Conquest Large has made a return to the CTE client. Last week we saw the TDM variant, but this week it's mostly about CQL. If you watched my last video about Dragon Valley canals, I did express my concern that I hope the TDM version doesn't become the main focus of Dragon Valley, and that the Conquest version will also get the same amount of attention. Well, I was glad to see lots of people hopped onto CTE to playtest a Conquest update, which was a good sign to see. Anyway though, so what's changed since the last time we saw this map? There hasn't been any drastic changes, but we do have quite a few tweaks here and there. The first one that you may have already noticed, the clouds have been brought down closer to the ground to try and recreate that low level mist effect like you can see here in Battlefield 2. The reason why this works so well was not only did it help build the overall theme of the map, it also provided some level of cover for infantry by reducing the view distance. And this is something that myself and a lot of other players requested to be added in the BF4 version, seeing as the map is very big and mostly open. The low level clouds implemented in the recent update do work at providing cover at times, but for the rest, unfortunately, like other areas of the game, 3D spotting ruins it, as you can still clearly see the 3D icon, even if an enemy player is well behind the thick layer of cloud. You'll especially notice this from air vehicles still able to pick you off from a distance, which is rather unfortunate. If you played Dragon Valley the first time around, you should have realised that the E flag had a severe lack of cover. Seeing as the E and C flags get most of the attention from infantry and air vehicles within the vicinity, this created a lot of issues in trying to capture and hold the damn flag, and became an even bigger problem once all the little amounts of cover were eventually destroyed. To combat this problem, Dxtory moved the E flag point up the hill where all the indestructible rock formations are, as you can see here, which is a good move to make, as this particular point of the map provides a lot of cover not only from air and land vehicles, but also to enemy infantry players, seeing as you can weave and sneak your way into the zone. And speaking of vehicles, there's been quite a few vehicle changes. The MAA tank has been removed, which at first I thought was a great idea, but after playing a couple of games I'm not entirely sure if I still think it's a good move to make, as at times you can be heavily pressured by air vehicles for a long period of time. Surprisingly, the attack boat has been added to the US side, however with the lack of water I really don't think it's needed, to be honest. In fact, every time I saw the attack boat it was pretty much destroyed within 60 seconds or so. To balance it back up, the Chinese side has an extra IFV. The scout heli was removed in favour of the transport heli that spawns at, I believe, the H flag, and it seems like one stealth jet was removed for the attack jet. And I was really hoping in this update we'll see the iconic pipelines from the BF2 version in BF4 like you can see here. However, it looks like it's not going to happen according to a tweet from JJU, which is rather disappointing, as it did provide extra cover for infantry moving from point to point and gives the map more character. Another surprising change to see, the bridge repair rate has been heavily increased. Last time it only took about 2 seconds to repair a bridge, which I thought was okay, seeing as it was also very quick in BF2. However, like I said, as you can see, the time to repair has been greatly increased, which I do disagree with, given the amount of times the bridges will actually be destroyed throughout the game, especially with 64 players. Also, I want to mention something important when it comes to playing on this map. It did take some time to work out, but it seems like the tickets won't bleed until one team has at least 5 flags, and you won't see a huge ticket bleed until one team controls 6 or more flags. This can result in some games lasting for a good 40 to 50 minutes, which honestly I don't mind. I do like long battles, but I know it's not for everyone. Some people really hate games that go on and on. I'm not entirely sure if this is intended or not, but I just wanted to let you know regardless. So let's talk about negatives about the map and also provide some feedback to hopefully enhance the Dragon Valley gameplay experience. Panning across the map here, as you can see, I want to talk about the clouds again from a broader perspective. One thing I really don't like is that the clouds look more like smoke instead of the mist like it was in BF2. Also, the greyish smoke really makes the map at some parts look kind of dull, and speaking of the colour, the map definitely needs some more artwork improvements, maybe by making the sky a little bluer, possibly even adding in more sunlight and some vibrant colour variations in the trees. Like I said before about the E and C flags having most of the attention, seeing as these points are within the middle of the map, it seems like a lot of the time the rest of the map was left alone and a lot of players would gravitate towards these 2 central points. I'm not entirely sure how to get more players to move around more of the map, but I think for starters it needs to be more water transport vehicles available surrounding the temple once captured. In that case, you can easily just go down to the shoreline, pick up the PWC jet ski and move towards other points of the map. It seems like that's a general issue though, from what I've read from some players wanting more transport vehicles around the map. Also, for a kind of crazy idea I think could work well, at the Chinese side with the waterfall travelling down towards the rest of the map, if you jump into the water here, you get killed in action. Well, what about if you're in a sticky situation fighting over the G flag, for example? Wouldn't it be really cool if you had the option to quickly retreat by jumping into the water here and letting the current take you down the waterfall and into the water below, where you can safely escape to the H flag or make your way towards the temple or even make your way to the F flag. I don't know if achieving this is possible due to technical limitations, but seeing as Dragon Valley won't be released on the last generation consoles, I assume DSLA have some room to breathe and can implement some features like this. And one issue I brought up last time, I still think there needs to be more indestructible cover around parts of the map, for example the H flag. I know it's meant to be a big open map, but for some flags they're extremely hard to capture and hold. In BF2 this wasn't so much of an issue because the mist reducing the view distance like I mentioned before, there was no 3D spotting, and of course guns didn't have anywhere near the range of what we have in BF4. But overall, even though some of the games I've had in Dragon Valley over the past couple of days have been ruined by team switches, I did manage to experience some really awesome balanced games, and I have to say I'm enjoying the map a lot. It just needs some additional polishing here and there, but I'm sure the map will be completed nicely for the winter patch. And speaking of upcoming updates, the full patch seems like it may arrive on the 27th. I saw on Twitter someone posted a picture of the mobile version of Battlelog that mentioned that Operation Outbreak will be released on the 27th. So judging by that, it looks like next Tuesday we're finally going to get access to the jungle map on the retail client and all the updates within the full patch. Anyway though, make sure to leave a comment down below, let me know what are your thoughts on the Dragon Valley Conquest update. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.